everybody. Thank you all for coming. So let's call this meeting to order. We're going to start with roll call. Raymond Camilla. Okay. Rochelle Garcia.
Present.
Judith Gutierrez.
Present.
Bethany Luna. Jamie Martinez. Marisa Ramirez.
Present.
Monica Salazar, present. And Rebecca Sepulveda.
Present.
And Alejandro Villarreal.
Present.
Okay. Did everybody get a chance to review the minutes? Do we have a motion to approve?
I move to approve.
I'll second.
Minutes approved. Then, do we have any public comments? No, right? Not today. So let's review, let's move on to the year-to-date financial statements.
They're on page 4. If you have any questions, remember our statements are on page 4, and then the hotel occupancy tax collections are on page 5. And we continue on trend as in previous months on the collection, tax collection. We continue on trend.
Any questions on the financials? So let's move on to the activity reports.
Which is in the separate packet, I'm sorry.
This one right here?
Yes.
Okay. Let's move on to Eileen Ramos, our director.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My report is on the separate packet. I was traveling most of last week, so I didn't make the cut to the book. But some of the things that I participated in, the whole office basically participated, was bringing the Telediario Multimedios broadcast to Laredo.
Okay.
This is our 4th live show with Multimedios in the last couple of years, and we're really excited. This newscast is one of their biggest shows, one of the ones that it has most of the ratings for newscasts, even though it's at noon. And their personalities are, their news anchors are very well known. People follow them. We had a large amount of people at the mall viewing the live broadcast, and so we're excited. We still have one more show in contract for this fiscal year, and we're thinking of bringing a different show because we've already brought the morning show, the noon, and now we're thinking about bringing something a little bit different so that we don't fall into the same thing.
But also, did it follow the noon hour telecast? So here, as it would in Monterrey, or like how long was the live?
2 hours.
From
12 to 2.
That's what. Okay, so
Yes.
it's a noon.
It's a noon show. And they see it all over northern Mexico, not only Monterrey, but also Coahuila, Tamaulipas, even South Texas. So it's the area that it covers is pretty large, and it's exactly the area that we're looking for people to come. And they did a great job, all the mentions, everything that we wanted to feature. So what we did this time different than the last show, the last 3 shows we had them at the outlet. This time we wanted to change it, and we had it at Mall del Norte. And so the same way that we did it last time, where outlets was the main feature, we gave space to Mall del Norte to do
Feature them.
Yeah, to feature them too. This time we did the opposite, and we did some interviews from the outlet. We did some interviews from Bridge 1, the new facilities at Bridge 1. And so we try to show not only the place where the broadcast is taking place, but also other attractions and other things are of interest to our visitors. I don't know if I mentioned this last month, but our, I think I did, but our tourism week campaign won Best National Travel and Tourism Campaign. And so we're really excited. I don't know if I mentioned it.
Well, that's
Congratulations.
congratulations.
Yeah, so it was definitely a team effort. Every single person in the team did something for that campaign, coordinated something for that campaign. We decided earlier in the year that we wanted to have one event per day. And so we had different things. Y'all were part of a couple of them. And so we wanted to make sure that we had the whole week full of events. And so then Ana Reina submitted our information to TTA, which is Texas Travel Industry Association. And they picked us from there. The campaign was really nice, the graphics and everything. And so we won Best National Travel and Tourism Week campaign with the Texas Tourism Industry Association. So we're really excited about that.
Congratulations. So just for the record, I want to say hello. They just walked in.
I was at the other place.
Oh, okay.
You did tell me. City Hall. Yes, I know. But I have one of these new fancy cars and I just say CV and it just takes me there. I was like, why isn't there anybody here? Man, I'm early.
And you didn't walk in, you were sitting outside?
No, I didn't walk
Oh,
in
okay.
here like the meeting's not here. And I'm like, And I literally drove by here to go there. Sorry, I
Well, you made
apologize. Yes.
Very good. Any y'all have any questions? Thank you.
So let's move on to
Excuse me, I
CPP's.
did have a question. How is the Sister Cities conference? It's coming up. Is
It's
it-
coming up July 13th through the 15th, and Veronica will talk a little bit more about it, but we're ready. Everything is set, everything is in place. I was mentioning before we started the meeting that this year it was kind of tricky to get, we won't have guest of honor because because of the situation with the elections in Mexico. We couldn't get anybody to commit and confirm. And so it was very tricky to get, nobody wanted to give us a confirmation before the elections. And after the elections, right before the elections, we got a couple of letters of thank you, but we won't be able to do it this year. And so we have some delegates, but we won't have a guest of honor this year because of that situation. But everything else is good. We'll have everything else. We even have a couple of groups and dancers. So we wanted to keep that element, even though we don't have a guest of honor, because we wanted to make sure there's entertainment for people that attend the event. So that's not going to be, we're keeping that part, the only thing that we won't have. But everything else is done. We have the papel picado at the office. We have everything packed. We have everything ready. So we're set. This
Wow.
year we have new vendors. So if you haven't been, or if you've been, it's going to be, we wanted to make sure, as with everything we do, we want to make sure we keep it fresh. And so we have several new vendors this year, as well as the favorites. And July 13th through the 15th, you're more than welcome to join us for the opening ceremony. And the 13th at 10 a.m. at the arena. And that's when we kick off the celebration.
You can visit me there all week.
We'll be stationed there all week. We'll join her later in the week.
So let's move on to CPP Service Coordinator, Veronica Gamboa.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I'm so excited to see you. I haven't been in the meeting for a long time, so
Yes, I
I'm
know.
excited to see you. Let me tell you a little bit of what I've done. Of course, my main project is Sister Cities. I've been working along with staff and everybody to make this project as best as it can be and recreate it every year. So we are bringing new vendors, as Eileen mentioned. There's about 15 new vendors coming in. We've done a lot of research on our list, on what we want, what we need, what hasn't worked, and what we want to have. So we are just trying to, we're already at capacity at the LEA, but now we're trying to bring new vendors and have a little bit more requirements for each vendor, especially with their sales tax.
You know, Veronica, one of the criticisms, if you will, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
of course.
really a good problem to have, I guess, is how crowded, you know, there's not enough space, you know, to maneuver in the aisles. I mean, some of those vendors attract a lot of people, and it's like 2 and 3, you know, rows of deep and trying to get to, you know, to the vendor and, or to purchase, and it's been just one of the things that I have heard. Everything else, I mean, people love it. I mean, it's one of the things people look forward to now. But that's one of the,
And what we're doing now, we know that the food attracts a lot of people and makes nice, so we usually used to put like Hecho Nuevo Leon all together, try to, you know, have every state together, but now we're gonna separate a lot of balance out the food because of that, because it makes a lot of bottlenecks. And also the vendors that have more attraction, we'll put them at the end so people could start going at the, especially in the concourse area.
yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to, and the arena has helped us in the past trying to set up the booths in a way that allows for a little bit more space in the hallway. So we try every nook and cranny, but yeah, we're trying to be mindful of the popularity of certain booths so that we can improve the flow, because we've tried like no strollers, yes to strollers. We've tried several things, but this year we're trying to figure out the best flow. Yeah, because we acknowledge that that's one thing that people don't feel attracted to, being stuck in.
Yeah, but not, because now that you've gotten, you know,
hallway.
we've gotten to the point where people look forward to it. They know what they want to go and buy. I mean, people are looking forward to it. I say, I'm gonna go this year because I saw this last year, you know, but I didn't have time, but I'm gonna go this year and I'm going to, you know, try to, you know, to buy, see if they still have that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of the things that, you know, that we've heard that it, you know, it's just too crowded in some areas, you know, the
Yeah.
bottlenecks, like you said.
And I think this year without the VIP section, because you don't have a VIP person, right? Because I know in the past, there's this big area in the middle, or at least I've seen in the past.
For the invitado de honor.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so all of that can now be used for,
You mean the stage?
no,
Or the booth for the
Yes.
invitado?
yeah.
The boost.
But it was, I mean, it was a good sized booth, right?
Oh, yes, she's talking about.
We're probably thinking of
Querétaro.
Corregidora.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Corregidora,
Behind the
Querétaro.
stage?
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yes, that was a beautiful display.
Yeah, so you don't do that anymore?
No.
Oh, okay.
That's how they chose to
Kind of-
decorate their
Oh.
booth.
Kind of a
okay.
customized deal, what the invitado de honor thinks. We describe the event to them, and if they want something like that, we try to accommodate
Oh,
that.
okay.
But we don't have an invitado de honor
Right.
this year, so that'll all be regular booth vendors.
There you go.
Yes.
So
So hopefully
maybe,
that alleviates.
maybe that'll alleviate some of
Yeah,
that.
and
Mhm.
maybe that's something to think
Yeah.
about for next year.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
maybe it could be moved to another area or.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll keep
We'll keep
figuring out the
trying.
flow.
Every
We'll keep
year,
trying.
so we're trying every time to see what we
Configuration.
can
Yeah.
do. So, I also have sponsors that I recruited, Falcon Bank, IBC, New Scope Marketing, which is representing Ford Company, Turimex, Turismed, Hospitales Mexicanos Americanos, and AT&T with our Wi-Fi lounge for our exhibitors. So,
And the outlet shops at Laredo.
oh yes, they actually were last minute, but yeah, the outlet shops at Laredo, I'm sorry. We just recruited them and they're on board, so they'll be there giving out information.
Another community element that we'll have this year is we wanted to showcase and feature our local sports. And so we'll have Heat, Pecos, and Bucks there at the event, so that we can give them a platform to promote their teams. We want to make sure that our local sports teams are successful, and having 23,000 people.
Kids eyeballs
It's
on
an
that.
annual,
Exactly.
Gives them
So
that
we
platform.
invited them to be part of the event.
How many people do you expect this year? Have you made any projections?
We would like to have more than 23,000 people.
One more.
Always on
You can't fit anymore.
Yeah, but the last couple of
But
years
people,
we've
I
had.
mean, you know, people come and go. I mean, it's
Oh,
like,
sure.
it's not like
Yeah, yeah.
it's stationary that they stay there. Some people do spend a lot of time, but
And people figure out when is the best time to go. So last year we saw that Friday would
We
usually
had
be
an
our slow
outstanding
day.
Friday.
And last year was, just the sales were up the roof. So people are figuring out what the best times to go are, and they figure out that Friday is the lowest one. So people start going on Friday, and so
A lot of people think that the pricing is a lot better, like if you wait
On
Thursday
Sunday.
and Sunday.
but then you risk
Yeah.
not
You
getting
risk
time
having
to
the variety.
morning. So yeah, some people risk it. and
Sometimes, yeah.
They go on Sunday and there's nothing
I
left.
said, what time does it close on Sunday? And it's, well, I'm gonna go just the hour before so I can get it.
Yeah,
Better
because
than-
You really don't-
That's true. People think that they can
People
trick the
think that they can
system
get it.
somehow that way.
Well, I did talk to a vendor a few years ago, and they said that they'd rather not take all this stuff back. I mean,
Right.
they wanna get rid of as much
Sure.
stuff.
Well, it
as
makes
they can.
sense, you know,
Yeah.
but a lot of people,
And some do, and some others already have commitments for other shows in the US. So they keep whatever they didn't sell and they have it already on.
Yeah, the lady I helped last year kept on telling me she goes
Does
all
the circuit.
around. Yeah.
It's very interesting, so, yeah. And then I also was out in Texas Travel Industry Associations for the Travel and Tourism College, so I am already
She's
a
smarter now.
sophomore. So I'll be continuing
until
That-
you graduate.
until I graduate, and I have to present the project, so
Wow.
hopefully I'll be as my boss here, certified. So it was very interesting, and I have a lot of things to come back to implement in our work environment. So if you have any other questions, please.
Question, where is the CLEAT conference being held at?
It's going to be at La Posada.
Okay.
And just, well, this is, Joel's not, there's not a report for Joel, but we were tapped by the Asociación de Abogados, de la Barra de Abogados de Mexico, and they're gonna have their conference here in July, the end of July, and Laredo's gonna function as their overflow. So their host hotel is obviously Nuevo Laredo, but they have 900 attendees to the conference, plus their families coming to Nuevo Laredo. So they tapped us to be the overflow, and also we're going to be able to promote Laredo so that anybody that has their visa, their documents, can come here. So we're going to have a booth over there at the conference in Nuevo Laredo, and we'll have several opportunities to bring them here and show them what we have to offer.
It's a good opportunity to showcase and promote the outlets as well.
This July?
This July.
Oh.
Yeah, we got contacted, they contacted through the Chamber of Commerce, and we finally had a meeting this Monday. And so they approached us and asked us for some help with a tour here and just sending a lead for overflow. So you'll see, you should already have seen a lead for the overflow.
How many rooms are they looking for?
They're looking for 70 to 100 rooms here in Laredo.
Wow.
It's not bad. It's a pretty good piece of business.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Yeah, thank you. So let's move on to our marketing manager, Selena Villarreal.
Selena is not here today, Madam Chair, but she's been working with, in preparation for another TV crew that's coming to Laredo, and that's KI. KI is CBS Austin, and we've worked with them for several years. They do a summer show called Road Tripping, and it has evolved to where now they do little vignettes or interviews during their newscasts, so it has a greater reach. And they're coming the same week as Sister Cities. That's gonna be fun.
It's always fun.
So we, part of our team is splitting to service that group and make sure that we show them the best of Loreto.
Well, it's not a bad thing. They can get some background B-roll of the show being set up and
Yeah.
tease that. so.
Yeah, we kind of set it up that way. It wasn't completely.
by design.
Exactly.
By design.
It's only Friday.
So, she's been working with them. She was also part of the team that coordinated the Multimedios Telediario. And she's been busy with everything that has to do with promoting sister cities, decos, and other elements and attractions that we have coming up for the summer.
So they're gonna be filming in several businesses or promoting? it?
Yeah, usually what we do is we have lists from what we've done, because we've worked with KI, I want to say for the last 6 years, 7 years. And so we make sure we never show the same thing. And so we have a list and we try to choose things that might be interesting for that market and try to show especially the new stuff and some of our hidden jewels. And so we try to do a combination
We
of
set up the
both.
shoots.
Uh-huh.
So everything's pre-appointed. Like we have the appointments already set up. All the venues.
So
that
they
we're
already
going
know
to.
where they're gonna be?
Oh, yeah, and they get it from us.
We tell them where
Yeah.
we want them to be and we go with them to each.
Don't
Okay,
forget
so-
Courtyard is a hidden jewel. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
It's not hidden, Janie?
It is. Have you been inside?
No.
It's been remodeled, it's nice.
Well,
Yeah,
we
it's very
have to go check it out.
It has a very warm feel.
Okay, so let's move on to our digital marketing coordinator, Ana Reina.
Yes, good morning, my report is on page 9. You can see the statistics for the likes and follows on page 10. And on page 11, you can find the traffic website statistics for May, because we have one on behind. So, I was working with the multimedia series, and we're working with the promoting events on social media and continue to promote all that we have in social media. And we have the new tool on our website. That's the hashtag Hola Laredo. You can see the pictures on the Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and we want to promote the people use this hashtag Hola Laredo, and they can see their photos in the website. This is what it is.
Because we've seen the content of Hola Laredo just soar. And so we wanted to make sure that we make good use of that content and that people feel appreciated because they're using the hashtag. So now they can go to our website, it's on the main page, and they can see their pictures, they can see everything they posted using the hashtag Hola Laredo. So it's an automatic feed to our website.
So when you say automatic, you hashtag it and it goes directly in there. Is there a way like to filter things that we don't?
Yes,
Yes.
you have filters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't worry there.
It's a program that we have with that company, so we're working on that.
Yeah, and they actually have found some interesting things for us, like interesting videos on YouTube that we hadn't seen. This guy, the last one we saw,
La
La
Ruta de la
Ruta de la Garnacha. Garnacha is like quesadillas, tacos. That's how they
Street
call it.
food.
Street food
Yeah.
in Mexico City is called street food is called garnacha, and so they found this video, and it's really interesting. This YouTube show came to Laredo a couple years ago, and they went to El Mesón, they tried the food, they did like a little review. So through this company, we're finding all these things, and we're able to repost and share with our followers. So
Any question?
Okay, so let's move on to the report from the Monterrey office for some medicine Rodriguez.
thank you. The report is on page 12, and someone had the opportunity to travel with our Port Laredo team representatives, Executive Director Mario Maldonado and Lead Director Yvette Limon, to represent Laredo at one of the largest events for logistics called Expo Carga in Mexico City. And so someone was representing CVB in that area. One of the things that we've been participating is with the U.S. Consulate in Monterrey. And so they allow us to have information. Obviously, people that go to the consulate, they're there looking for their visas, and because they're going to travel to the U.S. So they've allowed us to have information there for people that go get their visa. And so we've been working with them, sponsoring some of their events, especially 4th of July, having some representation from Laredo there. So it's been a good coordination and good work together with the consulate. And then golf tournament, we keep promoting in golf tournaments. That's one of the things that they've done consistently. And we participate with Pro Golf in several of their tournaments, promoting the Max, especially the Max, but everything golf in Laredo. And as you can see in page 13 is a list of the different travel agents that someone was able to visit in the last month.
Join us.
Okay. Hello, you guys. Good morning. Good morning.
Just for the record, I'm gonna say Bethany just got here, so I'm gonna check her. So let's move on to other reports. Convention Center updates.
I passed that one out, so everybody should have
The memorandum.
a page there, Madam Chair. It was I feel like it was a very busy June for the convention center. A lot of different things happened. Probably the one most notable is that our city council decided to move forward with introducing financing mechanisms, two of which that we're introducing definitely impact our hotel market. So we made the best effort we could to reach out to our hoteliers. Becky was at one of those particular meetings and joined us there. We did invite our committee to come in as well, so you could hear a little bit about it too. With the exception at that time, our hoteliers and our partner, and I point to Marisa here, asked for La Posada not to attend that particular meeting, and they were very respectful of that request. And then we had another meeting where our partner could come to the table and meet with our hoteliers. And so our first meeting, I think we had maybe about 9 to 10 people, does that sound about right?
Yeah.
Which represented maybe about 6 to 7 properties total. And then our second meeting, unfortunately, wasn't as populous with our hotel partners. It was only 3 properties that were able to make it to that particular meeting. But we continue to have dialogue. Eileen and I have another meeting later this week with the Viswanis. And we continue to reach out to the hotel market. But basically, the reason we're doing that is we're proposing a 2% hotel occupancy tax increase. It's not something that we will decide on, it's something the voters will decide on. So the resolution that council passed is the document that's needed to send to the controller's office. The state controller's office has to approve that resolution and tell us you're okay to go, and then we can call for a special election. So the city council, by way of motion or another resolution, I'm not really sure exactly what mechanism is used there, but they will approve a special election which would coincide with the November general election in order to put these propositions on. So you have proposition A and B, and this is just for purposes of sharing today. It doesn't mean this is how it's going to appear exactly. I actually think the 2 things you see here are probably going to be combined into one on the ballot, so that the voter doesn't have to try to decipher between one or the other, and we either get a thumbs up or a thumbs down on these on the proposition, the way that I think it's going to
Let's see,
appear.
that for this general election in November?
Yes,
Is that-
Mhm.
How many other propositions are going to be on the ballot? I know
That
that,
I know of one right now, although council discussed a second one, which we might see on the 16th of July on that council agenda, but I'm not real clear on what that one's supposed to say. I think they were trying to move
I
towards.
hope they're not the chart, I know that the charter
Charter amendments are not
gonna-
moving forward.
And
That
I'm
is
very
correct.
happy to know that, because I think, that's gonna be a whole different election, you know,
Yes.
people really need to focus and see what, exactly is going to be on the,
Yes.
on the chart.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, so.
But, so the election is going to be the general election on one side of the ballot, and then you turn it around, and we have the city elections.
Right, and it's gonna be a long.
And it's gonna be a long ballot, and, you know, things get lost in the shuffle,
They
and,
do.
you know, I don't know. Sometimes, and I think we need to think about where we're going to be putting referendums, and, you know, and for the people to consider, you know, sometimes people are just focused on elections, and, you know, it's very difficult for them to decipher, you know, what's going on, because as everybody here has talked to voters, and I know you all have, is like, donde y como, I mean, especially the elderly, they don't know, you know, that they have to flip the ballot, and because there's a lot of city elections as mayor and city council seats.
Yes.
And
A lot of
so,
candidates,
a lot of candidates. So, I think at some point we need to figure that one out, but, you know, to have this, I don't know, might be, you know, people just don't understand sometimes, you know, what they're voting, especially in these referendums.
Mhm.
They want people to explain it to them, and I don't know if we, you know, take the time, you know, to do that, especially the people that the interest, if they're interested in this particular
Right.
issues.
Yes.
But anyway, I think it's just food for thought.
I appreciate that, and we have discussed a lot of those factors in this particular time frame and circumstance, so.
So that's gonna be an increase, you're asking for a 2% increase in how much?
Hotel occupancy
Yes,
tax,
yes.
2%,
Mhm.
and then temporary car rental of 5%. There.
So it's all gonna be basically passed on to the tourists, I mean,
Correct.
yeah, because they're the ones that occupy the,
Yes,
okay, we'll see.
yes. We've had a lot of feedback from our hoteliers, definitely on the negative side of it.
Yeah.
They are not looking to implement this additional 2%. So, but we're gonna keep working through that. Hopefully we can still win over.
You know, we all complain, I mean, we go to San Antonio, Austin, and further point of Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
We were just in Fort Worth where they're, you know, the hotel, where their taxes,
Super high.
it's very, very high.
But we still pay for it.
Yes. We still travel, we still
still
stay in.
We do, so if it's gonna benefit our community, well, something to think about. Maybe it's just the way it's promoted. And sometimes you say we're hurting ourselves because people are not gonna come. But then we talk about those other cities that we go to, and, you know, we pay the tax anyway. But I guess it's something that everybody needs to think about.
I thought it was interesting, the perspective of the hoteliers that were against the proposal. We're talking about how their occupancy is mostly business travelers, and that they were going to see a reduction in business travel in their hotels, and that it was going to benefit only maybe the tourist area downtown, not necessarily the northern hotels that are focused more on business travel. But people who travel on business, pardon me, I don't understand. They're
It's an
coming
expense.
because they have a meeting, or they have an appointment, or they have a,
They have to be here.
they have a vendor that they're
And
going to
their,
visit.
and their expenses are usually, should be paid.
Right, so they're coming anyway. They're not gonna say, oh, Laredo has a 2% tax, so I'm not going there. I don't see that happening. I don't know if you can explain that to us or help us understand that perspective.
So, from a traveler perspective, most of the people that at least stay at my property, they all have a budget. And so they have to stick within that budget. Most of the people that stay at my hotel want to pay a certain amount, including tax. So if their, travel is $114 including tax, then that means that at some point, I will have to adjust my rate to make sure that I continue to accommodate the guest at that $114 travel hotel per diem or whatever they have.
And so you were saying that a lot of other cities, many other cities have higher taxes
Oh my
than we do.
goodness.
And so, do they choose Laredo because we have lower
No, because
rates?
it's whatever business they have, especially either in the medical or the logistics, brings them to Laredo.
So they're still gonna need, they're gonna have the need to stay here, whether we increase the 2% or not. Is that something?
I can't answer for the traveler.
What is the tax right now?
Right now, we're at 14%.
You're gonna
And
go
then
60?
6, 1, and 7. So it's split, 6 goes to the state, 1 to the county, 7 to the city. And in most other cities, the majority of cities that we surveyed, well, rather, we collected data from our partners at the Texas Hotel and Lodging Association. They do a tax survey. Their latest tax survey that they shared with me was from 2016. So the data there shows me that we're one of the few cities in Texas that collects at 7%. All of the other cities that have a venue that have increased their hotel occupancy tax for this type of project, all of them, in a subset of about 14 that I selected, because they had a venue project and they had done this increase, that's how I came to that 14. All of them collect at 9%. So we would be right in that same group. And they go from huge, our largest, most populous cities like your Dallas, Houston, Austin, all the way to some really teeny tiny place called Sweetwater. So, which is like a population of 10,000. They collect 9% tax and have a venue project. So it doesn't really, I think, depend on your market or even like your size of population. It depends on those communities that have made the decision to do this kind of venue project and
You know,
enhance their
if
market.
I'm a voter and I flip my ballot around and then I see this referendum, and all you read, I mean, you don't take the time to read all the wording, all that. And so if you just see 2% tax
Implementing
increase,
a new
you're gonna say, I don't want it. Oh, no, I'm not
There.
gonna vote for that.
Because they're probably gonna think it's coming out of their pocket, not the traveler's pocket.
Right, and
So
that's
there needs
the-
to be some
Campaign.
campaign
It's
education.
it's a campaign, you know, because, I mean, it's just like anybody running for public office. You have to go put your platform and let the people decide, you know, what you
We're prepared to do
stand.
that, the partnership and the city of Laredo. We're prepared to educate our voters. That's definitely been discussed as well.
So have there been any studies on the impact of a higher tax on hotel occupancy?
No, we have asked that question, and we're having our financial consultant help us out with that. And then we also have a sales tax consultant, which we're doing a little bit of research with them, not necessarily an impact study, but understanding perhaps or looking for examples in other markets and how those markets fared. So kind of looking for case studies, if you will, to see what other markets have implemented, when they implemented it, how did it go. So.
I know years past when I served on this board, there were classes at TAMU that were studying marketing statistics and I think maybe some of the border trade groups. And they were looking for research projects for their students. Maybe we could give them some kind of a study parameter and say, would you be interested in doing surveys or data collection, maybe even a time, you know, a long-term study on the impact of some of these projects to, over time, give us information about how it impacted positively or negatively.
Okay. I'll make a note of that.
So this is gonna be voted on at this is next city council meeting, whether to place it on the ballot?
The resolution's already been approved. It was in June. My report addresses what occurred in June. So it's June 18th that the council voted to approve the resolutions that would go to the controller. So the controller has a 30-day time period, which I believe we triggered that either Monday or Tuesday of this week. So the letters to the controller just went out this week.
Okay.
They have 30 days to say we approve or don't approve, or go back and forth and get more information. And then I expect the call for the special election to be on perhaps July 16th, and at the very latest, August 6th, our first August meeting, which should be the first week in August, the city council meeting. August 6th. So that would be the official call for the election, the special election, and that would determine that it gets on the ballot.
And this is to address a convention center.
Correct. All this financing, all this money, anything derived from the 2% or the 5% would go into a special bucket for the convention center.
Which ultimately would benefit our city in the long term.
It's a downtown improvement project. It's one of a multi-phased approach to improving our downtown and revitalizing it.
Are there going to be specific projects that you're going to be using this money for, or is it just going to be a general improvement for?
It's all designated to the convention center at this time.
Okay.
Because what the law requires is that we ask the controller for a venue project increase. And so the
You have to be
venue
there,
is the
yeah.
convention center.
And once the convention center is complete, then does that increase just stay in place? or-
It's for the maintenance and operation of it as well. There could be a sunset time frame given based on how long it would take for a bond to be paid back.
Mhm.
But if that goes away, then we don't necessarily we would have to identify another way for it to
Mhm.
operate, another funding source.
Bond issuance for bonds are just for time definite. And after that, that's how they figure your payout for that bond. So.
That's what I'm saying, it could be.
Yeah.
We're still determining that. We don't know what
Yeah,
the length of
that's-
a bond would be, and an amount of the bond is still yet to be determined as well. I had a preliminary discussion with our financial team on Tuesday, but we're not quite there yet. They've given us like 3 or 4 different scenarios to study and to look at. And it's a combination of different revenue sources, so.
So that's still going to be the public-private partnership? There's going to be that,
Yes.
the private money's
Yes.
coming in. This is the public money.
Correct.
The taxpayers
Yes.
take care of that.
So some of the things that our partner La Posada is looking at is joining with the flag, and our hotel partners can appreciate the fact that it costs money to join the flag, and then it costs money to meet the qualifications that property improvement plan from that flag gives to that property that's going to join. So right now, Hilton's at the top of that list, and Hilton's already given them about a $6 or $7 million list of things that they need to work on. And then beyond that, they've been contributing by way of property as well as by way of soft costs. So architectural,
But the total amount
survey.
has not yet been determined.
We're at about 65 million, and it's probably right now like an 80-20, where the city's at 80% of that and La Posada is about 20% of that. But those are preliminary cost estimates. We don't have everything in there right now yet. We're working on it. Some of those unknowns are what it's going to take to convince CBP, to convince GSA to convey property.
That's.
So there's a lot of moving parts here still.
Yeah. GSA is
One tough cookie.
very tough,
Mhm.
having dealt with them on several issues. And it takes time.
Right. And it's a tough sell because we are such a huge volume handling port. That piece of property between those 2 bridges is pretty key for them.
Yes.
So we can coexist there.
Well.
But
we
we've
can
got
try, I
to
guess.
find the right mix
Yeah.
for them and for us. So it's a big project. A lot of different things are going on with it. And June was a busy month. We also went out and saw a couple of other convention centers in June. So we had a really great meeting in Corpus. Got to talk a lot about the operational side of that venue and what they do. And their venue's very, very unique. It's a whole complex. It has an auditorium, it has an arena, it has a convention center. And it's really, really just massive. It's 23 years old, which I was really surprised by the age. So we did a lot of really good research, I think. So we're definitely hitting it hard on this project, and we're gonna try to make it work and pull it together. So
It takes time to put something like this together. I mean, you just don't say, you know, we're gonna do it in 2 years
yes,
or 3 years. You can't put a time frame on it. Because like you said.
especially if we want to do it the right way and that it benefits our community at the best
Mhm.
in the end.
Okay, well then.
Thank you.
Thank you. So let's move on to the inquiries report.
It's also on the,
Yeah, right here, double side. Do you have any questions?
it basically shows
So
the,
our activities for May, so everything that's come in the month of May is in the top 10, which is city, zip code, and state as well. So it's
if you turn around on the back, it has the sources,
the
so
sources of
we have different magazines, different publications that offer lead response, and so people write to that publication asking for specific information from one of the destinations advertised in the magazine. And so that's where the inquiries come from. So the rest is a breakdown of which zip codes, which cities we see the most traffic from, what states, and we see most of the inquiries coming from.
So any discussions or announcements from?
I just want to reiterate that you're all invited to our opening ceremony for Sister Cities, Friday the 13th at 10 a.m.
Friday the 13th.
Hopefully a very lucky day.
It better be.
At the arena, and we'll have new vendors, new products to offer there, and so we're really excited about this year's event, and hopefully we'll break the 23,000 mark.
La clasita se decide by one.
23,000
We always
and
want
one.
a little bit more.
But we're excited, so.
I feel that festival keeps growing and just getting better and better and better, and I think it's all because of your hard work. So thank you.
Thank you.
I even have a group from McAllen that says, call me with the dates when you find out when it's gonna be. So every year we look forward to it.
And we've got
And
calls
they come in
from,
just for that.
Just for that, not specifically.
There's people that, you know, that from the surrounding areas, I mean, they plan for this.
and we've got calls from other cities, other communities asking us if they can come and observe. what
Oh,
we do.
yes.
So we've got
So
several calls.
how do you know who comes to observe? I mean, in the masses.
Well, we have eyes and ears everywhere, and our vendors actually are the ones that report them because they feel like they're being solicited, and they basically are like, "Hey, I'm really busy. I can't handle this person that's coming up and telling me that they want me to go to something else," or like we had trouble with this guy that wanted to just hawk photos that he had taken. So he ran around and took photos. He printed them out, came back and said, "Hey, I'll sell you this for $5. Look, it's you. You're at your booth," and da-da-da. So, so that's not about another city, but that's about somebody that's soliciting, and we can't, that's prohibited in the building. We have an ordinance, no soliciting is allowed, and certainly if you're not
They're very
checking with us and telling us that you're doing that, so we politely told him to leave.
Yeah, so we appreciate the cities and the groups that come to us first and tell us, I would
Yes.
like to go see.
Corpus
And
has been here in the past.
Corpus,
Very respectfully called us before.
Mhm.
McAllen's the one that we had a little come to Jesus talk with.
Very respectfully.
And now they're very respectful.
Yeah.
My group is from McAllen, but I was telling you, they told me, but they come to shop. They
Yeah.
do, and
So,
I'm
no,
there with them.
You mean the Chamber of Commerce now?
It was the
Oh,
Chamber
okay.
of Commerce,
Yeah.
yes.
So,
It was officially our competitor.
Okay.
So, yeah.
They're from
And
our
those are,
corporate
that, the
office.
vendors told on them. The vendors said, hey, these people are passing out these flyers and they're promoting their, version of the festival, why? And so it's okay, but you need to tell us and then you need to do that on your own time, not on my time during my show. So.
yeah.
So we
That
keep
for us
them in
means,
check.
yeah, that for us
Flyers
means
for
that we're
It's like you're political, that's what-
successful,
Yeah,
because
the
others want
opposition
to
goes-
copy. what
They
we're
do
doing.
because of their cards.
So it's a form of
Exactly.
flagging.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't even allow voter registration. We've had voter registration come up to us and say, can we do voter registration here? And I consider that solicitation, so we don't, I mean, we've gotten all kinds of things. Can I just have a little corner, a little table? No, everybody had to pay to be here, so.
And we want the shoppers to enjoy their experience the
Yeah.
most as possible without being
Yeah.
solicited.
I recall that you guys mentioned that you're going to be enacting some surveys this year as
Yes.
well.
Yes.
Great.
We're gonna have surveys, and we did two things to kind of assess where the visitors coming and where they are seeing the information. So we added some copy in our ads that go out of Laredo north, and we added we're gonna give away a bag if you come to our office and show this ad. So we have that, and then we have the survey. So we have those two elements to try to capture where people are coming from and where they saw our ad for Sister Cities.
Did any of the questions on the survey question their activities outside of sister cities, or is it just directly like, oh, I'm coming here because maybe I'm looking for this, or when I come here, I stay here? Like, does it ask any of those type of questions?
Gonna ask, it's similar to the pony.
Okay,
What
so-
we do is Friday, it's just where they stay, how many nights, and they usually.
How much they spend.
And what,
How
how
much
much
they
they
spend.
I'm
spend.
confused. This is not the survey we give our exhibitors. It's
Yeah,
a
no,
different
this is-
survey
no.
for our visitors to the show.
Correct.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so we're still.
And an advertising survey?
Yes.
So we have, yeah.
So
we
there's
have the
three.
two. No, well,
Two.
to the visitor. Her question is to the visitor.
Yeah, to the actual attendee
Uh-huh.
of
Got it.
Sister Cities, what type of questions are we
Yeah.
asking them? And does it like spill over into information regarding, like we did at the outlets when you were asking like, okay, when you come here, what do you come here for? What do you come and look for?
What's your favorite
Yeah,
place
like-
to go?
We're trying to make it, because we know that they have limited time.
Yeah, limited time,
So we're
short
trying
attention
to make like
span.
a half pager, 5 questions.
Okay.
And I mean, we could, switch it up. Instead of asking their budget, we can ask like, what attractions do you come and visit Laredo for? And they could say, and then I'm doing a combination what we've done with the birding festival when we used to, when I've gone to trade shows, where you could even check a box if you want to receive information where they put their email. So that's something that
I would
I'm
just,
looking
yeah, and I only ask because I would be curious to know, like, okay, let's say that they make a special trip to come shop at this convention, like specifically. So then, outside of that, like,
What's
do
the
you go
spillover
anywhere
into
else?
it?
Like, are you
Right.
gonna come shop and then you're gonna go eat? Are you gonna come shop and then you're gonna continue shopping? Just so that y'all know, what it is.
What's
like,
trending.
you have
Yeah.
number one, which is they're here for Sister Cities, and then number
What
two,
else?
what else would they do? Because if Sister Cities wasn't there, that would be the first reason that they come.
What else did they like?
Yeah.
Enjoy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I understand, yeah, like small attention span, and people don't want to spend a lot of time if it's too complex, they just
Yeah.
like, nah, just,
And
they
so
don't give you good results.
This year, we're trying that, and then we're testing for next year, we'll test the electronics so that we can keep it up. We reviewed the one you mentioned, San Antonio.
Okay.
So, I thought it was too short, actually.
Yeah.
I went in and it's like, do you like San Antonio?
It's not.
Are you done? And I was like, okay, done.
But it was short and to the point.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we're figuring out how to have that available for the rest of the year, definitely.
And then also maybe
Yeah.
add it to our
Where we
app.
can add more information. And it's different when you're at your computer. It's easier to click, click, click,
It just
than when you're at the event trying to shop, and so we're figuring all that out.
I
But
do have
yeah.
one more question. Based on what you guys have this year, Sister Cities is obviously a very pretty and very eye-catching event, and everybody loves taking pictures when they're there, just for like the vendors and stuff. Have you guys incorporated any photo op sections or?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So we have a photo op, and this year we have a
Snapchat filter.
Snapchat
Nice.
filter.
Facebook filter. If you can see it now, the Facebook filter.
Okay.
With the Sister Cities frame. And the Snapchat, and we can incorporate Instagram. We're working on that.
Okay, cool.
That's great.
Nice. Yeah, I always lose the Facebook, like the frame, but the other ones I find pretty easily, so I was just curious.
Maybe we can like, just an idea, at the event, promote like people to hashtag it, like Sister City Hola Laredo, and the people who get more likes gets a prize. That way it's just like trending throughout. I don't know, just an idea. Maybe like a gift bag from our department.
We would have to figure out how to count, because we have,
Yeah.
it all depends, because we do it for destination training, and
Mhm.
it's kind of tricky even having like that small amount of people. Some people have their accounts private, and so they don't know how to do it, so we would have to
And
find
we spend
a
6
tool.
hours with them, and some of them it takes 6 hours to, okay, I just found you, find me, let's like each other, accept me.
Yeah.
That's right, and it takes the 6 hours to do
But it's
that.
something that we can look
That's a
at.
long
But you
time.
can always pick like
Well,
the
because
top
they
one.
probably don't use their account very much.
Yeah.
And
The
so-
aim would be
That's
for them
true.
to promote it and have their friends see it,
Yeah.
so that it's like eye-catching.
I think we can start with the Snapchat filter and
Mhm.
promote the Snapchat, they use the Snapchat filter and something like that. Because
Yeah.
now with all the change on the Facebook and Instagram, the privacy, that's very difficult to select the people, to find the photo and someone said, I have more likes in my photo, and you can see it.
And then send
For
it.
motivation
Yeah,
and
but we
incentive
have
for them to
the-
There's
do
also
it.
a lot of like new laws that have
Yes.
recently
Uh-huh.
been
Yes.
enacted about contests and how you can conduct them
Oh,
on
really?
social
Yeah.
media.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
learned about these. So, and the last thing the last thing you want is to get kicked out. So if it's not pre-organized, like if we don't already have it set, like probably not for this year, but you know.
Exactly. Well, we could look into it and have it set for another event or for next year, definitely. But yeah, this year we're kind of like ready for, and it's become trickier to have some sort of.
Like I know
conflict
you
of
guys tend to get, you're giving shirts to your volunteers this year, right? You
Yes.
guys do that
You're
every
right,
year.
Yeah.
Do those shirts incorporate the hashtag Hola Laredo?
No.
For next year,
That's
consider,
that.
because they're
Yeah.
walking billboards, so
Yeah.
then you'll see they're associated, and that would be
Yeah.
I'll take a Sharpie, I'll put it on.
A piece of tape.
But I'm sure we can all say good luck to you guys, because I know break a leg, it's going to be a fantastic.
No,
ride.
don't.
No.
Don't break a leg.
No, I won't.
We're bubble wrapping her up.
That's very mobile, but I was
I'm sure you all will be fantastic, so.
Good luck to all of you,
Thank
and
you.
we'll see you there, I'm sure.
Yes.
All of us, right?
Yes.
Bring your bags, bring your credit card.
Reusable shopping bags, please, everybody continue.
Yes.
Reusable, yes.
Yes.
We're all
Cash
committed
is
to
preferred,
that.
but
Yes.
we also take credit cards. Yeah.
Okay, so meeting adjourned, do you have a motion to?
So move.
There you go.
Thank y'all for coming.
I returned the pen then.
I'll see you on Friday.